Spoiler, Scott, thank you for joining me today. I understand we need to resolve some issues between the two of you. Would you like to tell me what happened? Scott, we'll start with you.
Phil, I just want this to stop. All right. Every time I've run into the spoiler since the day I've met him, he goes out of his way to torture me. All right. He's blowing raspberries in my face. He threw a wrestler at me. He hacked my Twitter. He took over my YouTube channel. I just need this to stop.
Spoiler, why are you laughing? You know this is not a good time to laugh. You understand this is serious, right?
Scott, you need to take it easy, man. From the minute I met you, you're wound up so tight. Just chill out, man. We're all having fun. It's a good time. It's
I'm
wrestling.
having no fun. I'm having no fun. I just want to do my job.
Yeah,
Can-
and I just want to be your friend.
Can we agree this is a place of work? You need to get together as professionals to be able to work together without any kind of harassment or hacking other people's accounts.
Okay, listen. For you, Scott, I'll do that. But you just got to tell me that I'm your best friend. That's it.
This is what he
That's
does.
all.
This is what he does.
Scott, I leave this in your corner. Will you be friends with Spoiler?
All right, you know what? You know what, spoiler? If you leave me alone, fine. We're friends. Now, let me be.
That's all I wanted to hear, Scott. And maybe we can go to Applebee's. We'll get the 2 for $20 if you got $10. And then maybe we can go beat up on pancakes. We just have a great time, as buddies.
Okay.
Can this be done, please?
Yes.
Okay.
Hey, I'm happy.
I think we
Not happy,
came
I'm happy.
to a reasonable mediation. So let's make sure this doesn't happen. I will see you both on August 12th at Midsummer Nightmare. I hope both of you have a wonderful evening.
Phil,
Thank you,
always
Phil.
a pleasure. Scooter, I'll see you in August.
What did you just call? See, this is what he does. This is what he does. He's always needling me. No, quit laughing, spoiler. I'm sick of this. Midsummer Nightmare, Scott Holiday, spoiler, Rhode Island barbed wire match. Saturday, August 5th, come see the newest innovation in ultra-violence as Combat Zone Wrestling presents Disaster Piece Twisted Metal, an afternoon of death matches taking place in an actual junkyard. There you will see Judge Joe Dredd, who has demanded to take on the best that CZW has to offer. So he'll go one-on-one with last year's Tournament of Death winner, Bobby Beverly. Plus, see Donnie Darko take on Orin Veidt, and Akira go one-on-one with Ken Broadway. Ken Broadway? Ken Broadway's in Twisted Metal? He has a match the next day at Limelight. All right, come see Ken Broadway at Twisted Metal. Then the next day, come to Havre de Grace, Maryland State Theater for Limelight, where Ken Broadway will go one-on-one with Chris Bishop of The Rep. Plus, the CZW Tag Team Championships are on the line as CMD defends against the Slime Balls. Now, the Slime Balls are underestimated in this match, but it should be noted that the Slime Balls have won the last 3 matches they've been a part of. They weren't conscious when they won, but they did win. So the Slime Balls looking for that all-important first conscious victory as they attempt to get gold here in CZW. Also, that is not the only title match, as the CZW World Heavyweight Championship will be on the line. Rich Swann makes his second title defense as he goes one-on-one with fellow Maryland boy, Leo Rush. These two have already met in the State Theater, so they're looking to tear it down one more time here at CZW Limelight. For tickets, go to czwrestling.com.
Dear high-tension wrestling directors, It has come to my attention that you are producing a show on August 12th called Midsummer Nightmare, a pro wrestling tragedy. An obvious allusion to William Shakespeare's A Midsummer Night's Dream. Well, I appreciate your, albeit misguided, gesture of casting J.S. Hawthorne in the ensemble. I must request that I be recast as the leading role of host for this event. There is no one more appropriate or qualified for this position. For example, my degree in theatre performance, as well as having performed in productions of Romeo and Juliet, Much Ado About Nothing, and Macbeth, demonstrate unequivocally that a thespian is what your production demands and what your patrons deserve. I look forward to hearing how I have inspired you in true art for this play. Dramatically yours, J.S. Hawthorne.
August 12th in Brooklawn, New Jersey at the American Legion Post. It will be Midsummer Nightmare, currently hosted by Ethan Wild LLC. But as you can see, J.S. Hawthorne has other plans in mind. But one thing that will definitely be happening, just announced, one-on-one in a Rhode Island barbed wire match, the Spoiler versus Scott HOLLADAY. Now, I am a commentator and I just want to do my job, but when you get pushed to the edge, eventually you have to push back. So come see me at Midsummer Nightmare, August 12th, as I rip apart the Spoiler. Today on the Soapbox, I stand here on my soapbox a few days removed from Blood and Guts. The latest edition of Blood and Guts saw the Blackpool Combat Club take on the Golden Elite. And I'm seeing some mixed reviews on this. Some people said it was over the top and too much. Some people said it was just perfect. But we saw a lot in this match. We saw thumbtack shoes, broken glass, beds of nails. And as I was scrolling through Twitter, I saw a word that I hadn't thought about in quite some time. Someone described Blood and Guts as indyrific. Indyrific is a word that is used to describe a match that is just insane spot after insane spot after insane spot. It is indie wrestlers showing all the cool stuff that they can do with their bodies. And there's a lot of things I would say about Blood and Guts. I personally am not a fan of war games. I have a whole video about that if you care to take a look at that. But I would not describe it as indyrific. Indyrific to me is like more flippy and acrobatics than it is blood and guts. So it got me thinking. What is the most indyrific match of all time? And for that, I need to tell you about a company called Pro Wrestling Unplugged. Pro Wrestling Unplugged was an independent wrestling company that ran in Philadelphia in the late 2000s. It was owned by Johnny Cashmere of the Backseat Boys. He started this company when he had a dispute with the owner of CZW. Go back to the video, please. This was a fantastic company that ran out of the ECW arena that featured some underground talent really building up their characters. People like Jack Evans, who you might know from Wrestling Society X, guys like Drew Blood, and there they were really trying to build something special. Wait. Back up. Did you see that? Look at this nonsense. What is that rope doing in the ring? Well, let me tell you about a very special match. I'm going to tell you about a match that has two sides of a cage, rope swings, scaffold folds, and trampolines. This is the story of the Crazy Eights. The Crazy 8 match happened a few times, but I'm going to talk about the last Crazy 8s. This took place in 2007 at the ECW Arena at one of the biggest events that Pro Wrestling Unplugged ever held. It had huge stars like Test, the Nasty Boys, the Sandman, and Burt Ward. You know, Burt Ward? He was the original Robin in the Adam West Batman? Yeah, he was there to knight Johnny Cashmere as the new Batman. You know, they make fun of promoters for booking themselves to be the champion. He booked himself to be Batman. That is a level beyond vanity booking that I've ever seen before in my life. Now, I should say this. I'm going to be poking fun at this a little bit, but I do say it from a place of love and respect. Pro Wrestling Unplugged was able to pack the ECW arena on a constant basis. I mean, take a look at the crowd. Look how full this crowd is, and freeze it! Enhance. That's me. I was there. I was there for the Crazy 8s. I met Burt Ward. He was a very nice man. He charged me like $25 for this picture. But I love this picture and it's worth it. So to understand the Crazy 8s, it's a bit complicated. And this is of course an indie event, so they didn't have the best video packages and they didn't have the best cameras to really show off what was going on here. So let me take you to my toy room and try to explain this to you. So this is how you set up a Crazy 8s match. You start with a wrestling ring and then you surround it by 2 walls of steel cage. So once you have those in place, they keep the fans out, but there's enough room to wrestle around this side so you can still throw people into it. And also on that outside, you have 2 scaffolds that are represented by these mint in-box pop figures. So now you have these scaffolding that you can climb up, you can jump off into the ring, you can jump off to the floor, but how do you get up there? Do you just climb it? Well, you can, or you could use rope swings. There are 2 rope swings located in the ring, and then there are 2 on the outside here on the sides by the cages. These are at various different heights and you can use them to swing around, do lots of crazy moves, and get up onto the scaffolding or onto the cage. Now, how do you win the Crazy 8s? Well, it's technically a ladder match. You must ascend this scaffold by the cages here and then climb a ladder that's on top of that scaffolding. Now, the ladder over there is not your standard like Home Depot ladder. It's more of a chain ladder, like something you'd see off the end of a helicopter in an action movie, and then you need to ascend that, and at the top of that is the championship. Grab the championship, become the champion. So that is 2 walls of steel, 2 scaffolds, and 4 rope swings combined to make the Crazy 8. And if you're anything like me, you looked at that and thought to yourself, hey, where are the trampolines? Yes, PW promised trampolines in this match and then did not deliver. They instead gave us 2 more rope swings, which at the time I was a little disappointed in, but I actually think that's really beautiful, is that they created this absolutely insane indyrific match and everybody left going, that was incredible. But I wish it had trampolines in it. It would have been much better with trampolines, which I just think is hilarious. So who was in this Pro Wrestling Unplugged crazy match? Well, out first we have 2 Cold Scorpio, the former PW champion, and you might know him as WWE's Flash Funk. And if that's how you know him, know that you're wrong. You should know him as 2 Cold Scorpio. In any case, 2 Cold Scorpio goes to the ring, and the commentators make some points about his age.
But what guts, what courage, you know, a lot of wrestlers in his position with the amount of time they spend in the business, they'd say, hey, I'm going to leave the Crazy 8 matches to the young guys. I'll leave that to the youngsters, and I'll concentrate on my semifinal matches, my intermission matches, sell my pictures, my t-shirts. But not this guy. He's a competitor. He is a true athlete. For him to step up at this point in his career and be a part of tonight's Crazy 8.
So 2 things I want to say real quick right here. 1, Too Cold Scorpio is wrestling tomorrow. Too Cold Scorpio was apparently old in 2007 and is still going and has not lost a step. And 2, you might notice the weird guy in the corner of this. That's the president of wrestling, Phil Stamper. He actually worked for Pro Wrestling Unplugged during this time and is who I stole this footage from. Thanks, Phil. Be sure to subscribe to Trust in Phil. Also, I did talk to him a little bit about this match and how it was created. The idea behind this was it was supposed to be the most insane match. It was actually going to be an Animal House match, and originally the idea was they would be swinging on vines, and then it eventually involved and devolved and evolved until it became what became the Crazy Eights. Next out is challenger Detox. Detox enters through the crowd because Detox like to sneak up behind children and scream in their face to scare them. Despite that, kids love Detox. It's a proven fact. And last out is the Pro Wrestling Unplugged champion Devin Moore, who you might know from The Wrestler. But enough about the introductions. You want to see some crazy spots, and there are some really crazy spots to get us started. We get a rope swing clothesline in the corner through the ropes, which is unbelievably impressive and doesn't get nearly the reaction it deserves. We also get a struggle Hurricane Rana, which I kind of like because I like that the violence is kind of imperfect in this absolutely crazy match. And then one of the craziest things I've ever seen takes place. It is a rope swing transfer into another rope swing onto a tightrope of the cage that Devin Moore then runs across and hits a nuclear senton. This moment has so many chances to go wrong, and the fact that it doesn't, and it is done so perfectly, is incredible, and kind of tells this nice little bit of information that this is Devin Moore's match. He knows how to use these rope swings to his advantage. This is not a situation that most wrestlers find themselves in, but Devin Moore knows how to use them. Detox then tries to do a rope Rana that gets countered. We then see Scorpio try to use the rope and try to hit like a kick, but it doesn't look great. It kind of looks like a botch, but don't be fooled. This is all part of the plan, because then Scorpio is going to grab the ropes and do this.
Scorpio has the rope. And look at the frustration.
Nothing. This is very interesting because this is the most indyrific match I've ever seen. But snuck in there, there's actually a very lovely story. You see, Devin Moore and Detox already had a Crazy Eights match. The clip I showed in the very beginning is from an old Crazy Eights match. Devin Moore has perfected the Crazy Eights match. So anytime he does something in the Crazy Eights, it looks amazing. Detox hasn't perfected it. He kind of knows what he's doing, but he hasn't perfected it. So anytime Detox does something, it gets countered, like this insane swing from the top of a scaffold.
Whoa! Oh, man.
And then you have the crafty veteran, Too Cold Scorpio. He doesn't know how to use the ropes. He's a high flyer. You'd think he would, but he knows how to use the top rope. He doesn't know how to use a rope swing, and he doesn't need to. He tries, but he quickly realizes that's not something he needs. He's still Too Cold Scorpio. He can win this match based on his wrestling ability because he's a veteran. So every time Too Cold Scorpio tries to do something, it fails, but not like Detox. Detox puts it all on the line and gets injured when he tries something. Scorpio just fails because it's not really his wheelhouse. But that doesn't mean he can't out-wrestle these two younger wrestlers. So the fact that you have this indyrific match that's actually telling this very subtle story is really, really cool. And I don't think that's why you clicked on this video, to hear about the nuanced storytelling that's actually going on in this absolute batshit crazy match. So I don't know, watch this.
And look at Detox.
Oh, you gotta be kidding me.
Just going for it.
Oh my god, they're dead. Those people are dead. I mean, Phil just said it. They're just putting it all out there. They are willing to risk their bodies to show that they really... Oh, Too Cold Scorpio won. Because he's the veteran. He's not going to destroy his body. He's going to focus on winning. The Crazy Eights is one of the greatest, most spectacular things I have ever seen. And unfortunately, not a lot of people know about them. There were only 2 Crazy Eights matches according to my research, with one Crazy 10, which had 10 individuals involved, which I think I need to find because that could possibly be more indyrific than this. But the truth of the matter is, I really wanted to talk about one of my absolute favorite indie wrestling experience, and that was going to this absolutely crazy show. Pro Wrestling Unplugged was my indie company, the one that I enjoyed going to with my buddy Mike, and it meant a lot to me. It's currently back. The rights have been sold to someone else, and now Pro Wrestling Unplugged exists in another form over on the West Coast that's not really related to the show I just showed you, but it's good to see that the PWU letters are still being used with pride. But this is my pick for the most indyrific match I've ever seen. Do you have a match that's even more indyrific? Well, please leave that in the comments below, and I will definitely do a review if you can top the Crazy Eights. And also, while you're down there, why don't you give this a subscribe so that you can get a notification next time I upload a video. And I hope you have a great day.